So I have some news, good news, bad news, I don't know. So it's the day after shooting the video. Last night, a special someone did ask me to come over. I can't help myself. Yes, I could have. I did try to find an excuse, but he wanted me so bad. Because it literally started because he was just like, we're talking about my ex, by the way. Earlier that day, I needed to pick up something from his place. I didn't realize the piece of jewelry that is very important to me personally was at his place. I was like, hey, can I go pick it up? And he was like, sure. And then eventually, I thought that, I could knock on the door. Call me crazy. Okay, call me. I know that sounds so stupid, but I initially asked him to leave the chain on his, the door handle so that I could just, grab it from the door handle. We live pretty close to each other, so it's, super convenient. And then he was like, oh, I just thought, if you want, you can just come in and get it. And I thought he'd be in his room or something initially. I thought that's where he'd be, because we've done that before, where I pick something up and he'd be in his room and, I walk in really quick, whatever, and that's it. But before, his dog wasn't there, right? And today, not today, but yesterday, his dog was gonna be there. So I was like, oh, I don't want to, upset the dog, because me and the dog, I was like mom. I was his longest lasting relationship in this dog's life. This dog is 3 years old, and I was there for a year of its life, I was mom, and I was scared of going in really quickly, getting the chain, and then the dog seeing me for 5 seconds, and then I leave, and then I give it borderline because I left it, bruh. And he was like, no, I think the dog will be fine, it's whatever, you can come in, and I was like, okay, hell, if the dog's gonna be fine, whatever, right? Thinking he'd be in his room. And then I asked him, okay, where are you gonna be? And he's like, oh, I'm gonna be on the couch outside of his room. I wasn't mentally prepped to see him. As we already know, we went through this last video. I was ready to see him in April. So I was like, no, I can't. I'm just not. I was not even prepared for today. And it right now, I eventually asked him if it was cool for me to just let the dog out so I could see her and say hi, and then for him to still leave the chain outside of on the handle so that I could just, because I just wasn't ready. And that's what we did, right? Whatever, I got to his place, and then my chain was on the handle, and I got my chain, and then I opened the door and the dog came out, and we spent time together. And it was I missed the dog. I cuddled her, and I ran around with her because she's a super energetic dog, and that's Bae, the hell. So anyways, and then I put her back in where she lives and went back to my place, and that was that, But then I get a text at 1:26 a.m. talking about, I really wanted to see you today. I tried. I was like, I don't know. I can hear my therapist Crystal, this doesn't sound like a good idea. But then again, I was like, well, that's my therapist. What about your therapist? And he was like, well, my therapist thinks that I make some fine decisions, so I think that they would just want me to keep it casual, we could talk, but have casual conversation. And it was 1:20 a.m. and it's oh, well, he seems to be struggling to sleep, I might as well ease his mind. What are we talking about? Bad idea. Get to his place, pretty quickly, there's some sort of uncomfortability because I'm talking about this whole celibacy thing, and he's wait, it's difficult for you, and it's I know he didn't know me when I was but I haven't been I haven't been 1 month celibate in years. So it's like, I'm a little, you know. I mean, actually, I think I was. But when I was like a straight up misandrist. Like, I had recently gotten straight up assaulted, violated by a man that I trusted. And I was just like, wow, I hate all men. Yeah, I had been assaulted before, but this was the first man I ever trusted. And then he goes and straight up violates me. And I was like, what the flippity dip? So saying that about, okay. Yeah, so like, even when I was like celibate for a month, maybe 2, it was just like because I like straight up hated males. Yeah, so now it's like a month, and I'm not a misandrist, and I'm back to being a feminist and like loving all rather than just like wanting men to not be around. And yeah, it's hard, girl. I'm sorry, it's hard. I'm hard. Oh my God. So that like made me feel guilty. Like, man, he probably thinks that I'm like, which I am. This is hard. Oh my God. And I could tell it made him sad. And I was just like, I felt like a monster, dude. I feel so stupid for going. Like, I'm happy I went because I did get some sort of validation in the sense of like, wait, he still wants me? Like, straight up, I thought, because I made the promise of celibacy and he didn't. And like, no hate, like, we're all human, I guess, if you, whatever. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, initially, my choice of celibacy was for the relationship, for like, oh, like, I don't want even to risk ever so slightly, right? Like, I was so like, no, just X, just this person. I can't risk anything. And then within the next week or 2, it eventually became like, you know what, actually, I had issues anyways with this, so I might as well use this for myself, actually. Yeah, like, I was just really surprised, like, he cared about me. Like, since I was the one to like specifically like make a promise about celibacy, in my brain, I'm like, okay, literally like 3 weeks in, I was like, okay, so he's already fucking other bitches, and like, he's forgotten about me. So it was like, it's so great that he wanted me to come over because, wait, you still like me? The flip. Anyway, so he told me about like some shit that was going on in his life, which is really hard shit. Like, I feel really bad for what he was going through, and my form of affection, like, my main form of affection is physical touch. My friends know it. My friends, I'm like, can we cuddle platonically because like I love you, you know? And my ex knew that. Like, he'd seen me do that with friends, and he like totally understood, like, that's like who I am. But I wanted to like cradle that motherfucker for what he was going through. So I wanted to like hold him, and then like he wanted to go to the couch for that because we were like on the floor. And so we got on the couch, and then I was cuddling him, and then he wanted me to stay longer and longer and longer. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe he still likes me. You know. Anyway, so eventually we got into bed. We knocked out. But the next day we did get a little freaky. Okay. I mean, does this count as breaking? So listen, if I get no comments, I might still count this as day 36 for celibacy, because nothing was put into holes. Did we climax? Yes. Is that illegal? Cause, oh my God. And did we help each other climax? Well, yes. But I didn't like, and he didn't, well, what he did was pretty like, come on, Crystal. Oh my God, did I break celibacy? I can't say what it was. I don't think that's like even allowed. I'm gonna count it. Nothing was put into any holes. Do I need to Google this? God damn it, I need to Google this. Fuck this. Okay, so it's abstaining from intercourse, you guys. I'm 36 days celibate. But I obviously, like, I'm going to refrain from what I did. Like, I do feel, like, disappointed in myself. Like, I feel disappointed for, like, saying yes to going over. I'm disappointed for letting it get to where it got. I should have been stronger. When I tell my therapist in 2 weeks, she's gonna be like, Crystal, and I'm gonna be like, it was 1 a.m. Like, I couldn't call you. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm trying, you guys. Like, I'm really trying, and I'm gonna try harder. Like, when we see each other in April, I'm just going to try to avoid it even, like, getting to a certain extent. But the thing is, okay, so here's the thing, and now we're really getting to it. So here's the thing. I promised celibacy. He didn't. And so I'm worried. And now we're really getting into it, you guys, okay? Like, this is things I need to talk about with my therapist. But the thing is, when I try to talk about this, she's like, Crystal, we should not even be thinking about that. Like, it's literally only been a month and a half. There's still, like, you guys haven't even had your first hangout. We'll talk about it more when we get closer to there. But it's on my mind, girl. I'm worried that if there is, for like next month, for April, we agreed that there shouldn't be any sort of anything sexual, so fine, right? But that already gets me worried. Then he'll have to go another 3 months after that of celibacy, or like, he doesn't have to, but that's what I'm worried about. I obviously would prefer if he didn't do anything with anybody, you know? I'll feel a little betrayed, and I understand that he's human and we all have our urges, but yeah, so do I. And here I am, you know? And then there's, like, the other part of me that's like, okay, well, you're doing this because you, at this point, it's for yourself. Like, it's not for the relationship anymore. But I would be lying if I didn't say, like, definitely a part of it is for the relationship. Like, this, literally the baseline of this started, it was for the relationship. So obviously, like, for me, there's still an aspect of loyalty attached to this. I mean, I'm not saying that if in the end he did get with other people, like, I'm totally just not going to be interested anymore. But I will be way less interested, especially since he knows that I'm doing the celibate. And at this point, like, he knows it's hard for me. Like, I told him yesterday, so, like, he knows. For him to know this, and then he told me on his end that it's been pretty easy for him to be celibate, which is like, but not for me at all, dude. And I've already I kind of realized this before, but I realized this more today. I'm coming to realize that my struggle with celibacy isn't actually like a physical, like, I'm not throbbing. It's more of like my brain. It's so weird. It's really not a physical sensation. It's just my brain. It's like back to the whole validation thing, right? Like, at a very young age, one of my earliest memories is me valuing myself in a sexual manner, and, like, not getting any sort of sexual attention meant that, like, I wasn't liked by this person that was, like, kind of important to me. So having memories like that at a very young age, I guess, would, like, impact you a lot, you know? And I guess that's why, like, I struggle so bad with this, because, like I'm saying, it's not a physical sensation. It's literally just a mental, emotional, like, battle. It's so weird. My ex hasn't really gone through what I had like gone through. But he is definitely very high on like the sexual cravings scale. And maybe that's just because he's a man, testosterone, whatever. But I don't know. I don't know if it's like selfish of me to like want him to do the same thing, even though like I want him to do it for the relationship and not for himself, you know? Meanwhile, I'm doing it at this point mostly for myself. Not completely, but mostly. So, like, obviously, like, that's unfair. But I don't know, like, do I sound crazy for still not wanting my ex that plans to get back together with me to, like, not be with other people? And that would make more sense, I think, if, like, the break was, like, a shorter time frame. But I think it's such a long time. I think the fact that it's such a long time frame makes it a little more fair for him to branch out. But here's the thing. I would be cool with him doing it with these things. This is gonna sound crazy, okay? But this is like literally the only way that my brain can make it okay. I basically want him to use, and this is so messed up. I just want him to use a woman as a pocket. And you know what I'm saying? I would be okay with it if it was like he does it missionary, but closing his eyes and not touching her anywhere other than the action. And after he finishes, like, he leaves and gives her no aftercare. Like, that's it. I'm like, oh, like, he's just getting his desire out. Like, no big deal. But if he does it in bed, first of all, I mean, he plans for me to be there in a year or less, 11 months. So, like, I don't know, like, that makes me feel weird. And also looking at, like, I'm so insecure, you guys. Listen, I know my face card eats, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I live in a place where the bodies here are insane. They are insane, naturally voluptuous, gorgeous, fantastic. And I look like I belong in Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, I'd be like hot as hell, but I'm not in fucking Wisconsin. In middle school, girls looked like they were of age with how their bodies were. And I looked like a middle schooler or an elementary schooler compared to these people. Like, I just looked like so, and it's still that way because I never ended up developing. So it's like, or like not to the extent that I thought I would. So it's like, you know, like, I don't want him to hold another woman's breasts, and I'm afraid of him thinking like, oh, I missed having more than like a singular handful or less, you know, or feeling an ass and thinking the same thing. And like, that's really scary for. So, you know, as anti-feminist as it is, yeah, if he were to like branch out, I would want him to straight up use the chick. Damn, I'm sorry, this is just the second fucking episode of this shit, and I'm literally like, I guess that's the video. I guess this is day 36 of celibacy. I did it. Not very well, though. Gotta do better. I have to, next time my ex, like, has an urge to, like, see me, I will have to say no unless it's within those 3 months. And we also have special occasions, like, he offered for me to use his place for throwing my birthday party that's coming up in 2 months from now. So that's, like, gonna be, like, in May, a month after April, which means it'd be, you know, But like that, like my therapist already knew about that. I guess we'll also figure out sooner to then like how we're gonna handle that. Will he go out that night so that he doesn't have to be around me and my friends during my party, or is he allowed to come? Or, you know, if I get wasted, I know if I get wasted, my therapist is gonna be like, Crystal, go home. You live so close. I just, you know, like what? I want to find an excuse to be with my man. That's not my man. I say that, but at the same time, I will say I've been so strong about not messaging him unnecessarily. I've gone through some shit lately. And like, I didn't go to my ex about it, you know? I mean, when we hung out yesterday, I told him about it. My therapist is gonna be so pissed about that. She's gonna be so pissed. I'm sorry, like, I feel so stupid, dude. I feel like so disappointed in myself. Oh, dude, yeah. This is literally why, like, I can't see him until next month again. And then after that, like, my birthday. And then after that, not until August. I said that I'd ask him about the name dropping. I didn't ask him yesterday, but I did after, like, during editing the video. I did think back to, like, knowing who he is, knowing how he is. He totally does not want his name dropped at all. Like, he does not post on his main, no story posts. He doesn't even like videos. Like, he's very secluded online. So I know, I don't even have to ask. Okay. Sorry this episode was, like, so whatever. Bye.